Have you ever looked at your life and recognized you've been dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's? You've been checking the boxes and following the rules, but something still feels off. Is this at all there is after all of that? The reason this happens is because your old identity actually has an expiration date, and the new version of you is pushing to be born. In this video, I'll explain why that nagging sense of unfulfillment is actually a sacred nudge from your own inner wisdom to bring you something new. It's not a sign that anything's wrong with you. I'll also share how to stop living by other people's definition of success, which we've all done, and it's time to stop, and why it's finally safe to step into that newer version of you. I'll also share the exact baby steps. They don't have to be large, small steps that you can take to transition from a life that looks good on paper to a life that really feels aligned. I'm Kathy. I'm a transformation agent. I've been working with women for over 25 years to have lives that are filled with peace, prosperity, and presence. Let's dive in. So there are moments in life where you feel like you're on a roll, and then suddenly something shifts and you feel stagnant or tired, and you feel like you should be happy with all this success or all these achievements, things that you've created because you've worked hard for them. They were what you wanted, and somehow they just don't seem to fit anymore. I had a client, Mara, who is living in that exact way. She had a life that most people would pray for. Her son was grown, life was very smooth and simple, peaceful and enjoyable. But she was a little bored because life felt uneventful. And she started to realize that her intuition was inviting her to something bigger. Now, sometimes it's hard to take those steps forward because it's like, oh, it's the unknown and people are afraid of the unknown. We worked together and she totally shifted direction into a place that became very inspiring. And it was the direction that her intuition was calling, was to create a peaceful farm. She had never done anything like this before. This direction helped us discover that being out of her comfort zone was exactly where she needed to be, on the edge, right? On the edge of creativity, possibility, something new, allowing things to come together in unexpected ways, and really fed her creative juices. So instead of that feeling of I should be happy or something stagnant and is this enough? She came into a place of creative fulfillment and presence and purpose in her life. So just like Mara, the awakened women mentality is I trust my intuition to lead me to my greater good. You don't have to know everything about the farm in advance. It's as you take a step, you learn more, you receive more wisdom, more awareness, and then you take the next step. Right? It's like walking up the stairs. You don't do it in one big jump, you do it one by one, and new information is revealed. If you want me to personally help you with this transition and help you find your creative farm, click the link right in the description. Now, if you're doing all the right things, but still feel drained, we also have to look at whose recipe you're actually following. So many people are high achievers and doing all the right things. They're climbing the ladder of success or being the good mom, but they end up feeling drained, exhausted, and out of alignment instead of feeling happy. I can totally relate. There was also a client of mine, Sarah, who was in this position. She was a very high achiever, type A, successful in the corporate world, and her marriage was really stable. She checked all the boxes, right? She had done everything, quote unquote, right. But she still felt like something was missing. She knew that it wasn't in the next outfit or handbag. And she had this kind of lingering, nagging feeling, and her husband didn't get it, right? Like, why are you not happy? Just the way things are. And this happens quite a bit, actually. So after digging deeper into her background and looking at some of the patterns in her life, we realized she was following the pattern that her parents had set out. This is what it takes to be successful, and this is what you have to watch out for. So there was also a level of anxiety because the programming was you have to watch out for things. And many of us can raise our hands with that one and feel like, yeah, that lands. But the thing is, as long as she was proving that she was successful on her parents' terms, she was not actually listening to her own inner voice and what would work for her. This means no matter how hard she worked, it was never going to be enough as long as she was seeking external approval, external validation. So the key change is shifting to happiness within yourself and trusting your own inner guidance. I call it the inner GPS to lead you to the things that are truly fulfilling for you. So Sarah had to learn that it's not her job to please her parents anymore. I mean, I've even had clients say like, oh, my mom wouldn't approve of that. And I'm like, do you live with your mom? And they're like, no, my mom died a decade ago. And it's like, okay, then it's time to stop trying to please them. Their happiness is their responsibility, and your happiness is yours. It's not your job to make other people happy. Even though you can take some responsibility and show up and do your best. I'm not saying never do that or don't do that. It's like happiness is not found outside of ourselves. So we have to remember it's not going to be in the next car. It's not going to be in your new haircut. Or another client acquisition. And, these things bring some degree of temporary happiness, but true peace, true joy comes from inside of you. It's found when you stop trying to prove that you're enough to the outside world and start listening to your own inner GPS. If you're ready to stop living by everyone else's rules, click the link below to join my email list, and you'll get more insights on reclaiming your own power. Okay, so now, what happens when you finally decide to listen to that GPS, listening to your own intuition? It often means letting go of who you used to be, right? The old version of you that would say yes to things that aren't really a match. You see, this is so common because holding on to our old identity gives an illusion of safety. It feels safe. But in reality, that construct is the very thing limiting your growth and keeping you from having lasting fulfillment. A good example of this is Diana. She was a receptionist who was doing just fine, doing her job. And she took a yoga course just for fun because she loved the philosophy. She wanted to learn more about why all these things worked to calm her down. I see that a lot. And things began to shift for her when I encouraged and invited her to actually step up and share her skills that she had learned in the world. So to start teaching and sharing her wisdom. And that was terrifying for her. She was like, I don't think I can do that. I can just see it in my mind's eye. I see her body got tense, her face got so tense. And, little by little, we nudged her forward, and she taught. She subbed a little bit and then ultimately started teaching larger and larger classes. And so from that moment of like that terror and tension to teaching diverse groups, like a step by step, it was building of her confidence, right? Confidence doesn't come before you act. Confidence comes from taking the action and moving forward. You don't develop confidence by staying in your comfort zone. Then we'd all be on the couch in front of the TV. I wouldn't be here in front of the video camera. I'll share this story with you at some point of me doing my first Facebook Live because I was terrified, like she was. So Diana moved from being a hesitant, insecure receptionist into one of the most loved instructors in her region. And it's from the old identity to the new identity, right? And it's not a leap taken all at once. It was these little steps, one step after another, that gets you there. What I'm trying to share with you is you have to be willing to step out of what's comfortable and get support if you need it. Okay? Envision the future you, and you can do this now. Envision the future you who has what you'd like to have, who's being what you would like to be, the you that's thriving beyond your current limitations, and start taking little steps in that direction. It might be making a phone call. It might be Googling something. It might be reaching out to take a class or get a mentor or whatever the case may be, right? Little stuff. You don't have to do it all at once. Anyone who has learned a skill, achieved a skill, has learned that skill. We often use the example of riding a bike, but if you are a speaker on stage, it's a learned skill. If you are a great artist, it's a practiced skill, right? So they didn't get that way on day one. And what I'm inviting you to do is just these little steps forward. And after, a whole year, you'll have 365 little steps getting you where you want to go. And if you're not there by that point, that's okay. You've learned a lot. So it's safe. It's safe. As long as you're listening to this, it's safe to let go of the version of you that's expiring, that's feeling unfulfilled, so you can step fully into the newest, most aligned version of yourself. And that version is vibrant and thriving and loving and kind. That's the real you. If you need guidance stepping out of your comfort zone like that, I get it. A lot of us do. And I'm happy to book a call. Book a call with me at the link below. And it is the first link in the description. And we'll help you step into a more fulfilled future. Thanks so much for watching this whole video. And I'll see you next time.